No division, at least among the men, more interesting for me right now than 135 pounds. Speaking of which, a guy on the outside looking in, but likely not for long. Let's get to the Suga Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name of Blast 89. And so coming straight from Yonkers, New York's right. And I'm just trying to smoke on that Suga Show. OG, quarantined in my robe, looking extra cozy. But don't get it twisted. I fight Ferguson myself to get out of this prison that I call home. Hit up Sean Shelby. Book it. Can't complain, we all healthy. Another reason why we light one up past the blunt. I mean papers trying to spare my lungs. Sometimes I just love the flavor, cause too much of something good leaves me in danger. Not weed though, the smoke kiss my throat like Jordan from the free throw. Told my girl if she don't know who Can Florian is, taking her back to where we first met in the DeLorean, kid. I need Derek Lewis on the second verse, dropping hot bars instead of hot balls. Where Ronda Rousey find ass at, I could use a nurse. Even if my charm gets me on bar, just bring more weed, Mr. Anik. I bring the peace, fuck the annex. The world could use more love until the gloves are on. But until then, I'ma hit the bong and watch Nate Diaz fights until another song. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of weed. Just don't abuse it. No. We just tryna.
All right, now joining us about 10 a.m. his time before training live at the gym, a guy who I believe is going to be a real problem for the rest of this UFC Bantamweight division, probably for the next decade, because he was born in 1994. He is 11-0 right now and on a mission for greatness, my friend, our good friend, Suga Show OMalley. What's up, my man?
What's up, guys? Yeah, thanks for having me on. Super excited.
So, dude, it's mind-numbing to think that it was only 45 days ago when you won a bonus for that beautiful finish of Jose Teco Quinones. I'd imagine, not unlike for us and everybody else, that feels like more than 45 days ago for you.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm so ready to get back in there. I'm like, it feels like it was forever ago. I'm ready to get back in there and do it again, especially being off those 2 years. And I was so, if you look at my entire career, I've fought 4 or 5 times every year since I was 16. So taking those 2 years off, I'm like, I feel like I got not a lot to make up for, but I just crave it more than I usually do.
Yeah. So I know your training circle is small. You essentially have your own personal head coach, your good friend Tim Welch. How has your day-to-day life, though, and training life been most impacted by COVID-19 and any isolation restrictions that you have out there?
Not a ton. We're training. We're at the gym right now before training. We usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday we train live competition grappling. Start from our feet. There's usually a group of 6. Like today, we have me, Tim, and then 4 other killers. Tanquino's in that list, yep. And then I think 3 other black belts. And today's they're probably gonna be 10-minute rounds. We'll probably do 6 10-minute rounds. So and that's what I've been doing those 2 years I was off, is doing this exact training, just competition training, and it's the training I love the most. Wednesday we'll be in a gi. That's usually where I get fucked up most, like by those guys. No gi, I do a lot better. I can hold my ground a little bit more, but it's super humbling. It's going in the gi. No gi, I get humbled too, but in the gi especially, it's just like, fuck, these guys just, and it's really, I feel like it's really good for my game and I improve a lot. But there's Eckert, Tim's dog.
Yes, yeah. Eckert.
Yeah, but the COVID hasn't really changed too much. I'm still doing my strength and conditioning. Usually Tuesday, Thursday, sometimes Saturday, depending on how my body feels, and then training grappling Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
So, Sean, it seems like you're getting your training in. Do you find it to be more of a challenge in these days getting sparring partners to commit to training with you right now?
Sparring, as in grappling? No, not really.
Okay.
Because Tim and I, people are messaging us, dude, please let us come train. Let us come train. That we come in and we work hard, and it's addicting. People like it and they want to train, but it's nice because Tim owns the gym, so we get to pick who comes in, and we're picking tough guys.
Seeing your last fight, I think what was most impressive was just your overall calmness and composure, and coming off of a long layoff. I was kind of blown away by it, man. You look like you're really coming into your own. You're getting comfortable in the octagon. What do you credit that to?
Those 2 years I was off, I did a lot of training mentally, whether it was like just the meditation. I cold plunge every night. I don't know how familiar you guys with cold plunges, but
hell yeah.
It's just an ice freezer chest, fill it up with water, plug that bad boy in. The water gets, you can let it freeze over. It goes anywhere from 30 to 50. That's usually where I get in it. But that's such a mental test every single night to get in there and be able to quiet my mind. And when I was taking my dogs on walks before that fight, every night I'd picture Joe Rogan standing there talking to me, and after I won, and after after it happened, it was a powerful moment. But I feel like just the calmness and everything was, how I look at fighting too is the more calm I am, the more dangerous I am. You see people have to get mad, fired up, ready to kill. And I feel like that just hinders their performance. But obviously I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like for me, the more calm I am, the more dangerous I am.
That's music to my ears.
Yeah, that's it right there. Sean O'Malley with us here on the Anik and Florian podcast. So in terms of your calendar, right, the good news for you is, unlike a lot of these fighters, you did compete last month. You won a bonus, so you have that traction regained at Bantamweight. But I think for a lot of American fighters, maybe the calendar gets moved up a little bit potentially if international fighters can't get here. I know you're chomping at the bit. Anything in your head within reason in terms of a calendar as to when you'd like to get back in there?
I was kind of just planning on July, International Fight Week in Vegas. But if they said, hey, do you want to fight in 6 weeks, 100%, I'm down to fight sooner. I'm pretty healthy, ready to go. So definitely, really whenever, but I picture myself fighting in July just because I messaged Sean Shelby for that UFC 249 card and said, hey, if anyone falls through, I'm ready to go. And he said, no, we want to save you for July. So I don't know if that's kind of their plan or what, but I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I feel like I haven't got out of shape. That's that Monday after the fight, we were back to training. So I'm in pretty good shape. And I'd be ready to go in 4, 5, 6 weeks.
So I know when we sat down with you prior to UFC 248, we were all just soaking it all in at the fighter meeting and just listening to you talk with a wisdom that certainly belies your years on this earth. And the dynamic with you and your girlfriend and Tim Welch and everybody else is just such a tight-knit, mentally fortified group. In terms of you and Tim, how would you describe sort of the personal and professional dynamic between you, this 1-2 punch?
Yeah, so when I moved down to Arizona about 6 years ago, me and him got an apartment. I didn't know him too well. He had just invited me down to Arizona. He seen I had potential, and he said, hey, you want to come down and train at a real gym? Because in Montana, you can't get great training. And I was, I hit him up the next day. I'm like, I'm ready to come down. I want to come train. So I came down, tried it out I was here for 10 days, and just it was not good. I got beat up bad, but I'm like, that's where I need to be if I want to become what I want to become, which is, the best to ever do it. And so once we moved down, him and I got an apartment. I think I was 19 when we got an apartment. I didn't know how to live live alone. My mom did my laundry, she did the dishes, everything. So I had to learn a lot about that stuff. But yeah, we lived together for 2 years. He was still fighting at the time, but every time I had a fight coming up, he would, kind of go into coach mode and help me with that. Always flying out to my fights, holding mitts for me. So it's kind of, I think I've had 11 fights as a pro, and then I had, I think, 4 fights as an amateur when I lived down, 4 or 5. So we've been together for a long time. Outside the gym, we're best friends. We hang out. We're super close. But inside the gym, I respect him as my coach, and we've been training together for, like, competing against each other. The bigger I got, like when I weighed 145 pounds, he's almost 200. It was different, but now that I'm a little bit stronger, we can have better goes, and I think we have a good relationship.
So are your parents still planning on moving to Arizona, or did that already happen?
No, they actually just drove their motorhome down last weekend, which is a 19-hour drive in a motorhome. They're crazy, but so they did that. They're planning on selling their house in Montana, and they're trying to come down as soon as possible. I think my little sister's moving down here in July. She's going to go to a community college here and play basketball. So hopefully getting the whole family down here sooner than later.
So what are your thoughts overall on this bantamweight landscape? Obviously, in a perfect world, this division would keep moving and Henry would put his belt on the line May 9th, potentially against Dominick Cruz. But any thoughts on Dom getting the title fight and overall where the top 15 is right now?
Yeah, the bantamweight division is the most stacked division in the UFC right now. I think there's just the top 10 is just crazy right now.
Yeah.
And then Dom versus Henry. I know Dominick hasn't fought in a couple of years. He's coming off a loss. That's an interesting fight. I don't really know how to predict that fight. It's just because we haven't seen Dominick in a while. And the last time we did see him, he got schooled. So that's got to play into him. Henry's coming off all these crazy wins. So his confidence is probably riding real high. But it's an interesting fight. I do feel like Henry could probably beat him. Dominick doesn't really have that knockout power, and I feel like Henry could definitely catch him. But I think Sandhagen would be an interesting matchup versus Henry. Sterling, I think, would be an interesting matchup. There's all of them are interesting matchups. But Henry versus Dominick, I don't know. Dominick deserves it looking at his whole career, but coming off a loss a couple of years ago, it's questionable.
I know when I sat down with you last month, we talked about your place in this bantamweight division. And every time Kenny and I look at the rankings and don't see you there, they look wrong. But I know you're not as impatient as some people, on Team OMalley that are your fans and have created this fan base. But I got to think, if July you were fighting Henry Cejudo right now, even if you're a couple years away from maybe your best or your fighting prime, you believe you're ready to beat the top 5 guys in the world right now. Yes?
Absolutely. I feel like I could knock out any one of them in the top. Well, anyone in the bantamweight division. I feel like my eyes, my speed, my height. I feel like I could knock out any one of them. But I'm also not in a rush to say, hey, give me that title shot. Hey, let me fight a top 5, because I am 25, and I know once you start fighting the best dudes in the world, which I'm going to be real soon, like, you don't stop fighting the best guys in the world, especially if you're winning. I plan on winning. I'd like to stay undefeated, but it's like when you fight the best dudes in the world, you can lose. But I also look at it like, if I'm taking each fight as serious training camp, I feel like I could just keep winning, and I'm gonna go through some wars fighting these top dudes. It's not gonna just be a first round knockout. I'm gonna have to, be ready to go for 25 minutes when I start fighting main events, title fights, and all that's gonna. I'm excited for all that, but I'm also not rushing into it and trying to do that next fight. If I had to fight a top 10 guy, top 5 guy, there's no doubt in my mind that I could go in there and win. Absolutely. I feel like with the training partners I have, the skill level I have, the mindset I have, I can compete with those guys.
Sean, it seems like you're taking the right approach, man. But what are the kind of things that you're working on most right now to get you to that level where you feel you can beat anyone in the top 10?
Say that again.
So what are the kind of skills that you're working on right now, kind of filling in your weaknesses that you feel are going to help you to beat those guys in the top 10?
I feel like the way for someone to beat me is try to hold me down, try to take me down, hold me down. I'm super active off my back. I have a really good guillotine. I'm getting a really nasty darce. I'm getting really good in the front headlock position. I'm getting really good at getting up off my back, attacking off my back. So I feel like that way to beat me is it's not really going to be the answer, I think. And I haven't really got to show that yet besides that quintet, but not a ton of people saw that quintet event. So I still have that in my arsenal where people think, okay, we're going to take him down and beat him. And when they take me down, they're going to get choked. So I think that I still have, it's kind of a secret almost. So that's not going to be the answer. So that's what I'm working on, is making sure that's not the answer. Take me down and hold me down. You're not going to be able to do that. I don't think, very many people are going to want to strike with me. I think once they feel me in the octagon, they feel the speed, and they're getting hit with stuff that they don't really know where it's coming from, that they're going to try to take me down. And I'm making sure right now, like with these training sessions, that's not going to be able to happen. They're not going to be able to take me down, hold me down. So those are the things I'm taking. The skills I'm trying to attain right now is just be as nasty as I can off my back. One person I really like to watch is Charles Oliveira. I want to be like him. I want people to be like, damn, I don't want to take him down. So that's kind of where I'm going.
All right, couple rapid fire questions here with Sean OMalley on the way out. Most likely opponent for you in 2020 from this list: Chito Vera, Cody Garbrandt, Pedro Munoz, or Rafael Assunção?
Cody got I don't know if it's true, but I heard Cody went down to 25 because I came up to, I started making my name. I don't know if that's true.
Right.
So probably not him. I would probably say Cheeto. Definitely. Yeah. I asked for Jose after I came back. I'm like, I was supposed to fight him. He deserves that spot, and I feel like Cheeto does too. I also heard Cheeto say he's not going to look for a fight with me or anything. So I don't know, but out of that list, I'd probably say him.
And Cheeto's got that number 14 next to his name, at least right now. But I think most guys see you unequivocally, with respect to the others in the top 20, as the most dangerous, maybe avoided guy without a number next to his name right now. I know you keep a sharp diet. Obviously, you're really not getting north of 160 pounds, but like it is 420. I mean, do you have a munchy snack that maybe is healthy that is a go-to for our listeners out there?
A healthy go-to snack. I mean, you can pretty much find anything that you crave. You can make it healthy. For me, we might do some healthy organic pizzas tonight.
All right.
So I'm a big pizza guy, but you can make that in a healthy way. So I like pizza, just quality organic ingredients, raw cheese, grass-fed meat. I don't know. You can definitely, anything you can think of that you like, you can make it healthy.
I like that. That's good advice. All right. Fact or fiction? Henry Cejudo will still be the UFC Bantamweight champion at this time next year.
Ooh. I'm going to say fact, just because he'll probably fight one time.
Well, that's right. See, I see how smart this kid is, right? See, I had to extend it a full year with the COVID-19 and everything else. But, yeah, it might only be one fight, and he's going to be favored to win it,
Yeah, I think he'll probably beat Dominick and then ride out the champ as long as he can.
All right, and then last thing, I was watching that Quintet Ultra live. I know Chael Sonnen Submission Underground is going strong. I mean, is that something where you could take a grappling thing when you don't have a fight on the books? And would there be a spot between now and July that there would be something that you could wet your beak with?
Yeah, definitely. It's just so risky with how good these guys are at leg locks and stuff nowadays. It's super. We saw what happened to Cub Swanson. It's just so risky to. I love competing in grappling. That's why we do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're competing. But to go out there and go against someone I don't know and I don't really trust, obviously they're trying to win. So it's super risky. I don't know. One thing I definitely want to try is the ADCC trials and stuff. It's I don't know if it's a smart career choice, just because you never know what can happen in those scenarios. So I would say probably not, but anything could happen. And if the right opponent, if I'm getting offered to compete against someone who I know is more of a wrestler who's going to try to put me on my back, pass my guard, take my back, guillotine me, something like that maybe. But just nowadays, the leg lock guys are just so dangerous to go with.
No, that's a smart outlook. Well, it's been a pleasure, obviously, to chat with you and catch up with you and watch you rise, man. This bantamweight division is much better with you in it. So stay healthy out there, and hopefully International Fight Week will be the week, and we'll see you in July, my man. We appreciate your time sincerely.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, John. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Sean. Stay healthy, man.
Bantamweight contender, the Suga Show 2.0. Sean O'Malley with us here on the Anik and Florian podcast.